Rush hour in Los Angeles. Hundreds of taxis weave through city streets, hiding a secret worth $340 million. Behind the chaos, federal task forces prepared for a coordinated strike, exposing a criminal network that weaponized the city's taxis and left innocent drivers at risk. What triggered the largest undercover sting that would soon stun the nation? The answer begins with a single anomaly. A flagged entry in a routine financial ledger caught the attention of a federal analyst. The numbers didn't add up. One Los Angeles taxi company reported a surge in cash deposits that far outpaced industry averages. Over several months, bank statements showed unexplained spikes, sometimes millions of dollars appearing in a single week, then vanishing into a maze of shell accounts. The company's official ridership and fare records told a different story, reflecting steady but unremarkable business. Analysts from the DEA and the FBI pored over the paperwork, tracing the flow of funds through dozens of accounts registered to drivers, dispatchers, and distant holding companies. Each layer revealed new inconsistencies: payroll records with duplicate names, vehicle maintenance invoices for non-existent repairs, and sudden payments to consulting firms with no clear services rendered. The deeper they looked, the clearer the pattern became. A sophisticated effort to disguise the origin and movement of large sums of money. The anomalies were too substantial to ignore. Internal memos circulated between agencies, outlining the potential for organized criminal activity hidden behind the city's taxi fleet. Federal financial crimes units recommended forming a joint task force, bringing together forensic accountants, cyber analysts, and field investigators. The paper trail had shifted the case from rumor to credible concern, setting in motion the first steps of a sweeping investigation. Approval for a joint federal task force arrived by secure memo, signed off by division chiefs from the DEA, the FBI, and the United States Attorney's Office. The decision came after a closed-door session in Washington, where agency representatives weighed the credibility of the evidence and the risks of escalation. With millions of dollars moving through the city's taxi fleet and no clear explanation on paper, the case had grown too complex for a single agency to manage alone. A formal mandate authorized immediate resource deployment. Forensic accountants, cybercrime specialists, and field agents were reassigned from other high-priority cases. The Los Angeles office of the DEA coordinated with the FBI Criminal Enterprise Unit and the LAPD Organized Crime Division, establishing a joint command post in a secure downtown facility. Commanders set up encrypted lines and a unified chain of command, ensuring every agency could share intelligence and act on leads in real time. Behind the scenes, legal teams began drafting subpoenas and preparing Freedom of Information Act and PACER requests. The lack of public records meant investigators would need to build their own paper trail from scratch, relying on internal databases and confidential informants. The task force's first priority was to verify the scope of the operation. How many vehicles, how many employees, and how deep the alleged smuggling network reached. With the mandate in place, the investigation moved from spreadsheets and memos to the streets of Los Angeles. Early morning in Los Angeles, field teams began their work long before dawn, blending into the city's routines. Agents from the DEA and the FBI rotated through unmarked vehicles, logging the comings and goings at taxi company depots. Over several months, they tracked hundreds of cabs using GPS data obtained through court-approved warrants. Each car's movement was mapped against dispatch records, revealing patterns that did not fit the usual rhythm of city fares. Certain taxis lingered at warehouse on the city's edge, or made repeated stops at addresses flagged in earlier narcotics cases. Undercover operatives took shifts as mechanics, dispatchers, and even passengers, collecting small samples of residue from seat crevices and trunk linings. Those samples were sent to a laboratory for analysis, confirming the presence of controlled substance in vehicles that otherwise passed every city safety check. Surveillance teams used digital tools to monitor dispatch activity, analyzing call logs and ride assignments for coded language. A surge in priority pickups often coincided with spikes in unexplained cash deposits. Agents documented every step, building a detailed timeline of movements and transactions. Each flagged route or suspicious stop was cross-referenced with financial data, tying specific vehicles to the flow of contraband. The evidence painted a detailed map of distribution across Los Angeles, showing how narcotics moved from storage locations to street-level dealers using ordinary cabs. The groundwork laid by these surveillance and infiltration tactics set the stage for the next phase: forensic examination of the vehicles themselves. Forensic technicians arrived at impound lots as soon as the cabs were secured. Each vehicle was assigned a unique evidence number, logged in a chain of custody form, and photographed from every angle. Technicians documented the precise location and design of each hidden compartment, some built into the floor beneath the passenger seat, others concealed behind false panels in the trunk. Measurements were noted. Most compartments measured roughly 18 inches wide by 8 inches deep, large enough to hold up to 20 kilograms of narcotics without detection during routine city inspections. Evidence was cataloged carefully at every step. Lab teams collected swabs and residue samples, sealing each in tamper-evident bags marked with case and vehicle identifiers. Every sample was tracked from the field to the forensic lab, where chemical analysis confirmed the presence of cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. Digital photo logs and compartment diagrams were prepared for prosecutors, ensuring each discovery could be presented as evidence in court without risk of contamination or dispute. Analysis records were created to maintain chain of custody and scientific integrity. Officers processed drivers separately, cross-referencing their shift logs with dispatch records and GPS data. Most drivers had no knowledge of the modifications or the cargo they had transported. Protocols required agents to interview each worker individually, document their statements, and verify employment histories. Those cleared of wrongdoing were released the same day, with written records affirming their status as unwitting participants. Drivers were treated as witnesses when appropriate, not suspects. These safeguards protected innocent employees from wrongful charges and preserved the integrity of the investigation. The forensic process transformed field discovery into courtroom fact, laying the groundwork for charges against those who orchestrated the operation. Integrity of the evidence chain ensured that prosecutions could proceed on a firm scientific and legal foundation. It was early morning in Los Angeles traffic. Inside the command center, agency chiefs gathered around a digital map of Los Angeles, each district color-coded to match assigned task force teams. At 5 minutes before 0-hour final briefings echoed through encrypted radios, and each zone captain confirmed readiness while listing target addresses and vehicle counts. The operation relied on precise coordination. DEA, FBI, and LAPD supervisors directed their teams from a central hub, monitoring live feeds and communications across the city. Every taxi depot, known stash point, and suspected dispatch office was marked for simultaneous entry. Agents moved into position, blending with early morning traffic, while tactical units staged quietly along key intersections. The countdown advanced in 30-second intervals, with each update relayed to field leaders. At T-1 minute, all units received a single word: hold. The city grid was now under federal control, with hundreds of officers poised to strike at the same moment. For command leadership, years of investigation had narrowed to these final seconds, every decision calculated to prevent a single warning from reaching the network. At the stroke of 6 a.m., tactical teams surged into motion across Los Angeles. Agents breached taxi company offices, depots, and identified stash points in unison, securing entry before word could spread. Every vehicle flagged in the investigation was immobilized and isolated for immediate inspection. Evidence crews fanned out, tagging and bagging narcotics found in hidden compartments, compressed bricks of cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl, which were measured and weighed on site. Asset teams worked in parallel, freezing accounts and locking down safes, computers, and ledgers. Over $340 million in criminal proceeds, from cash to property titles, was segregated under federal control. Officers processed suspects separately, ensuring organizers and complicit dispatchers could not coordinate or destroy evidence. Drivers cleared of wrongdoing were documented and released, their statements recorded and employment histories verified against shift logs. Each piece of evidence, from a single key fob to a full manifest of seized drugs, was logged, photographed, and transferred under strict chain of custody protocols. By noon, the entire network's operations had been dismantled, its assets frozen and its organizers in custody. In cities worldwide, traffickers adapt faster than laws can change. As criminal networks evolve, so must the vigilance of law enforcement, because even the most ordinary routines can hide extraordinary risks. Public safety now depends on staying one step ahead. What would you have noticed in plain sight?